when it comes to innovating or updating their collection, Venezianico has been doing a great work at that. We've seen Venezianico reimagine their own branding. We've seen Venezianico go through all of the redesigns of their watches, and the Neriede is one of their flagship collections. And this Neriede is not just thinner, but they snuck in a lot of fine redesigns in this case, and we'd like to examine each and every one of them with the Neriede Ceramica from Venezianico. This video is brought to you by Venezianico. Prolific might be the best word to describe this Venice-rooted brand, and refined could be used for this latest iteration of the Neriede. We have reviewed other versions of the Neriede, and this retains the spirit of the Venetian design. As I tossed this on my wrist, however, I noticed that there's something different with this one compared to its predecessor. It still wears big with its 42mm case of this pirate's dainty cuff. However, the case profile makes it more curvaceous. I love the Canoba bracelet, but the Ceramica introduces the brand's contoured rubber strap. It sits flush on the case and lugs, making it feel deeply integrated to the case design. It's also a little more rough and stiff compared to fluorine rubber. This band is crafted in Italy, in keeping with the company's initiative to support local businesses. Our channel also supports its friends, and Artem Straps will also make an appearance on this video. This new olive green sailcloth adds a touch of subtle vibrance to the piece and more texture to the aesthetics. If you prefer the understated appeal of a black strap, Artem also offers that with its loopless line of bands. It may not be as integrated as the case design, but it's significantly less bulky. Lastly, despite what some watch fans may say, a signature pirate collection is not complete without a NATO somewhere. This Bond-style fabric feels just right on this new Neriede. With all of these options, there's already a bit of playability that could make this your only Venezianico. That statement may land me on a watch review detention by discouraging you from buying the brand's other offerings. So in an effort to further dig myself into a deeper hole, let's pit it against the other Venezianico watches. Personally, the 39mm Neriede GMT is the perfect size for my wrist. It virtually has no overhang, but that thickness sways my heart towards this new Ceramica. Against the Redentore Ultra Black, the Ceramica simply has more going for it. For fairness sake, the Ultra Black is minimalist by design, but it also means less situations to wear. Finally, beside my favorite, the Tosteno, the similarities are very clear. There is a certain finesse that you can feel with this new design, making the previous one feel slightly outdated. We'll explore that further, but this clearly shows the evolutionary step this Ceramica made. Let's check out what's new. The case dimensions remained virtually unchanged, with both being 42mm. The thickness is 0.10mm less than the original, but it looks way thinner because there's less surface on the side. The bezel height is less pronounced, and this reduces its presence even more. The bracelet part remained marginally identical, but I'm pretty sure the end links are revised to match the improved lugger. Other aspects of the bracelet was improved, with the emblem glass cover being a bit more heftier this time around. It's not that it was a nail hazard or something, but it's nice to see that it further matches the center links. On the smaller details, the lug shape is tapered a little more, the markers are more geometric, and we get a different second hand on this one as well. Now let's get our macro lens and look a bit closer. One thing to notice is that it's a definite smudge magnet. There's far more polished facets for this case, bezel, and dial that you might want to have a wiping cloth handy all the time. The most noticeable addition are the polished chamfers that gives this a more elegant and shapely body. This also makes the case appear thinner. The bracelet remains the same with adequate articulation. We still have that butterfly clasp that closes the band seamlessly, with it being capped by the brand emblem. The polished buttons are also visually obscured because of the polished surface. The Konoba bracelet remains one of my favorite parts of the Neriede design. The case back is engraved with a Neriede submarine that's being held in place with a number of screws. This keeps the image upright in the same orientation. Back onto the dial, there's a bit more craftsmanship to enjoy. The whole dial for this ceramica is made from Venetian enamel work. This makes the dial surface extremely glossy and amazingly deep visually. This really emphasizes the volume of the indexes and objects over it. On top of that, the loom on this is fantastic, an inherited trait from the Nereides that came before it. All around the case, the Venezianico flourishes are evident from the crown emblem to the well-decorated caseback. There's enough of the old to keep its identity, but there's also a good amount of the new to pull in the fans and recruits. Take for example this new strap that's more than just a thrown-in surplus component. This one was actually designed to be a true extension of the case. It sits conveniently flush to the case and the lugs just melt into the rubber sculpture, which is pretty cool. Mix all of this up with two different textures and it all adds up to a fantastic new addition. Priced at €779 for the rubber strap option with the Konoba bracelet, it's a good solid diver that can cover for most occasions. Venezianico is now past the point of proving itself as a solid brand. It's a prolific brand that's measured through its refinements. The Neriede Ceramica from Venezianico is a fine example of how to refine your collection in a subtle yet uh, satisfying way that does not disappoint your fans, but at the same time offers them a little bit more of what the future has to hold for the brand. With this new thinner case profile, it's a lot easier to wear, and at the same time, it still maintains that Neriede spirit. That's the Venezianico Neriede Ceramica.